So Pope Francis will lie in state until his funeral on Saturday. The late Pontiff died on Easter Monday at the age of 88. Let's get an update now from Rome. Bring in SABC News reporter John Bevir. John, a very good evening to you. So how long are the queues of the people who are waiting to see the Pope's body as it lies in state for the next 3 days?
Well, I've just been down to St. Peter's Basilica. That's the building you can see behind me. I've just been down there to have a look at the queues and to see the sort of mood that's down there at the moment. And it is a lengthy queue, as you might imagine. There are thousands of people who have been waiting in line for hours. At the moment, the weather is good, so everyone, I would say, somber but enjoying their time. It is, of course, a beautiful place if you have to spend a few hours waiting in a queue. It really is a very beautiful place to pass that time. We have just had some rumbles of thunder, though, so that is going to challenge people when it comes to waiting in line if we have some heavy rain. It is available for people to go into the Basilica today to see Pope Francis lying in state. Up until much later this evening, about midnight local time. We're going to have the same again tomorrow, Thursday, and then on Friday it's going to start early in the morning and then it's going to finish at 7 o'clock local time, and that's because at 8 o'clock they will seal the casket ahead of the Pope's funeral, which takes place on Saturday morning.
And how is the process being managed, John, given the level of interest, thousands of people expected to file past this coffin over the next 3 days?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Hugely busy, lots of people arriving from all around the world, wherever you go. In Rome, there are just people arriving everywhere, people with bags. It's a mix of some people were just here on their holidays and just happened to be here at this historic moment. Others have come specifically for this. So, as you might expect, lots of people from countries with a high Catholic population, especially those in Europe, obviously, because they're nearby. But I've seen many people here from all over Africa as well who said that they wanted to come here. I was speaking to one man from Ghana who said he wanted to make the journey because he felt it was the right thing to do, because he described Pope Francis as a pope that cared for people, as he put it, like him, people who were from the global south, people who maybe struggled with things like poverty and injustice, and he thought that Pope Francis stood up for him. So that's why he had made the journey, and said there were more members of his church coming as well in the coming days. And in terms of the numbers, the authorities think there could be as many as 250,000 people here come the day of the funeral. They say they are ready and prepared for that number, if not more people coming. And then, of course, the security operation really steps up to another gear when all the world leaders arrive, especially when you have people like US President Donald Trump coming to town, and the whole circus that brings with it as well.
And for the people who've already been out there, the many Roman Catholics who've already made their way to Vatican City, this is, I would imagine, a moment that's not only emotional, but quite spiritual as well, because there are people who will be there for the first time since taking up membership of the church.
Yeah, absolutely right. You have people using this as the reason to make their first trip to the Vatican. And so, like you say, yes, somber and sad, but actually when people get here, they are meeting a lot of other people of their faith. And I think there is a lot of comfort and solace in that for people, that when they arrive, they are surrounded by a lot of very like-minded people, people who value the same things as them. And it's a chance to meet people from around the world as well. And then, like I say, mixed into it, you have all the regular holiday makers as well, who just happen to be here at this time on this week. And so there really is a big melting pot of people all gathered here for what truly feels like a mass global event.
That also means then, based on the volume of people, John, that this is also going to be a great opportunity for local businesses, be it in the hospitality space, transport, etc.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, it's difficult enough to get a taxi in Rome at the best of times, but over the coming days, I mean, it's going to be incredibly tricky to get around. If you've been to any major city during a major event, whether that's a sporting event or any other sort of state funeral, anything like that, this whole situation reminds me of London after the Queen died a few years ago, where just basically the whole city, that's what everyone is geared towards. So yes, like you say, things like accommodation, hotels completely full, especially anywhere central, anyone who's renting out apartments and things like that, that is all incredibly difficult to come by. Some people arriving here, we talked about it a few days ago, arriving here first, booking their flights and then worrying about the accommodation after they got here, which again just shows the level of devotion that some people have when it comes to coming here themselves to say their final farewells.
And lastly then, John, in terms of the church's logistics themselves, a lot's going to happen. We're expecting those cardinals who will take part in the conclave, the election, the selection of the Pope's successor to also begin arriving. Is that being communicated yet as to how many are already in-house at the moment?
Yeah, it's all incredibly secretive, and whenever you see a cardinal emerge from Vatican City to cross the street into some of the accommodation just nearby, they are pounced upon by dozens of journalists and camera crews to try and get an idea of what might happen in the conclave. It really is quite a strange sight to see cardinals dressed in their robes suddenly being stopped by journalists asking them lots of questions. In the way that you might do at some sort of film premiere, really. But in terms of the numbers here, we know there are going to be 135 in total who will be voting. You have to be under 80 years of age in order to vote. And for the first time, more than half of those 135 are from outside of Europe. So there are some people wondering whether that might signify the fact that we could have another pope from outside of Europe. But of course, not just geography that comes into this. There is the different factions as to whether the Pope Francis was too liberal, whether there needs to be a return to some traditional conservative values over things such as abortion and gay marriage and those sorts of things. So all of these different things will be coming into play when the conclave is formed. Best guess in terms of local press is a lot of people thinking it's going to start on May the 6th. That's one date that's being talked about. But obviously all of that comes after the funeral itself, which takes place this Saturday.
John Bevir, good to talk to you. John is Lafras in Rome watching preparations for the burial, the funeral of Pope Francis today, the first day of his lying in state.